The United States have attacked Iran. President Trump has given that order. It was expected. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, otherwise, President Trump would have had to watch his back all the rest of his life. Yes, among many reasons, that's one of it. Because, the mullahs there, the ayatollahs, made it clear they were going to go after him. They tried it, they demonstrated it many times. So it's justified for President Trump to go after them. I'm just going to tell you that. But the real reason is because the ayatollahs have just been a murderous regime. And no one likes them in the region. Do you ever realize that? Because the region is predominantly Sunni Islam. And then you have these Shia Islam in Iran, led by these mullahs with their proxies that they've set up everywhere for over 40 years, 47 years precisely. Basically just, killing and maiming along the way. Essentially just to impose his own, hegemony in the region. Of course, it's a world power. It still is in the region, a regional power. But it used to be a world power. This is the former Persian Empire we're talking about here. So it has a long history, over 2,500 years. And, there was even a king at the time, a Persian king that God used, a pagan king that God used, a Persian king to help the Jews to be able to, to get out of exile and get back to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple and all that. You can find these things in the book of Nehemiah, the book of Ezra. And this is interesting because, there would always be leaders that would rise up and become, just the opposite of what their history talks about, their history speaks of. Who would have thought that Iran would be led by mullahs at some point that are just, religious fanatics? And you have to understand that they have their own understanding of how the world should look like. They don't want the existence of Israel. And they made that very clear. They chant death to Israel, they chant death to America. So President Trump is doing the whole world a favor. Not just for himself, which is, I say again, justifiable. He's a righteous man. He's a God sent. And he's sent for this. God put him there for this. That is why they did everything to destroy him. And it never worked. But President Trump, please, you got to go to Nigeria too. I had to say this. I have to say it. You got to go to Nigeria as well. Don't stop in Iran. I know it's going to end one way. As I speak right now, precision-guided munitions from the United States Navy, the United States Military Air Force is hitting Iran's precise targets. And it's going to end one way. The mullahs are gone. This is regime change. This is what it is. This is the game. This is not just destroying nuclear weapons. And the mullahs will go get the nuclear weapon if you don't take them out. That is the ultimate weapon of survival. And they will do it. So President Trump is doing the world a favor by doing what no other president in the United States in their history did or could have even done, because the United States possesses enormous firepower, which has been increased tremendously by President Trump. It's no longer woke like it was under Biden or Obama. It's a military that is poised for war. It's now been called the Department of War. It's no longer called the Department of Defense, more precisely. President Trump is a God sent. And he's doing the world a favor. I can tell you it's going to end one way. It's not going to take long. The mullahs are just, they've tested power. They could have just, I'm sure Trump would have offered them like he did to Venezuela's former president, the one who is now sitting in jail in America. That is Maduro. And he offered Maduro, you could go enjoy all the millions and all the billions you stole, you took from the country, and just let these people breathe. He refused, because someone who has the gun never think that they can be, removed from power. People with the gun feel invisible. That is what the mullahs are feeling right now. The allure of power, the deception of power, the greed for power, and the taste of power makes it almost impossible for any man who has been there to say he wants to quit. That's what's happening in Nigeria as well, in other parts of the world. They will do anything, including killing people. They have no qualms killing people. Look at the people that have been killed in Iran. Look at what is going on in Nigeria, the massacres going on. But the people who have stolen their way to power, under the current regime, it's not an administration. Nobody should kid you about that. These are people that have no qualms getting people killed or having people killed through thuggery, through the state agencies. They've done it. They've demonstrated it. They have no qualms, all just to retain power. Leave anything they're telling you about religion. It's all a manipulation. The people in Abuja right now, those people that have stolen their way to power, have no qualms getting people killed, just to retain power. And they're doing it. They're demonstrating it. Just recently now, you could see what happened to Peter Obi, His Excellency Peter Obi. You see, they almost got him assassinated. They have no qualms. And the people of Nigeria have been so conquered that they feel they can do anything and get away with it. And they are doing it little by little. They're demonstrating that they can do things and get away with it. There has to be a greater external power that comes in and gets rid of this murderous, cancerous, Nazi-style, Islamofascist regime. What President Trump is doing in Iran needs to be done in Nigeria. Please, President Trump. I am a Trump man. Supported you in many ways. We've stood with you over the years against all odds. When people walked away, when people said, no, this is over, when they tried to destroy you under Biden. And by the way, those lots, those Biden lots and Obama lots, they need to have it coming. It's taking too slow. I got to say. Otherwise, they're going to repeat it when they get back to power. They never give up. I tell you, people who have tasted power, people who have had the gun or have the gun feel invisible. You gotta mete out justice. This is real. This is reward. This is reward experience. This is reward. We're talking reward right here. It's either you or them or you. And President Trump understands this. He's a brilliant man, President Trump. We need you in Nigeria. You've started it, hitting them, giving them a Christmas present with Tomahawk missiles in December, but you got to go a long, much more way further than that. You need to get rid of the regime in Abuja right now. You need to get rid of the regime, because let me tell you, migration will continue to be a problem if we don't get out despots in power. One of the reasons you have all this migration all over the place, Nigerians want to leave because the country is not working. But the country, when it works, Nigerians want to go home. There are investments I wanted to make over the years. There are some I've made, but they've all depreciated under this APC evil regime. There are investments I have in Nigeria. They've all depreciated in value because it's a depreciating country. Because the economy ain't working, it's not going to work. You give them 2 lifetimes, it's not going to work, because all they are there to do is to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I want to make further investments. We have people who want to make investments. Real big investments. I'm talking about people who even have a lot, we could get and bring into that country. But no one wants to touch a place where there's no rule of law. No rule of law. Nobody wants to invest in a country where there is no rule of law. In a country where the courts, the outcome of decisions of the courts are determined by people in political power. No investor is going to touch it. And many of us who come from there, however little, want to go back there and do something. And then there are these other big time investors we can also bring in there. We want to do stuff. There are things to be done to help the country, to make the country work again and bring jobs and make it the true black giant. It's a disgrace what Nigeria is doing to the black man, to black civilization. President Trump, we need you in Nigeria, and we need you fast, because they're going to steal the elections again in 2027. I hope His Excellency is on the ballot. I believe he's going to win. President, you see, that's a prophecy already. Amen. Peter Obi is going to be president by God's grace. He's going to win. But these lots, let me tell you one of the things that will make it difficult to get them out of power. One of the reasons that it will be difficult to get people like Tinubu out of power internally is because they've done so much evil, stole Lagos for over 20 years. He knows he's going to be probed for that. Stole recently in the last 4 years, plus the ones that was done under Buhari for the last, basically 16 years now. They're not going to live gently. This is not the Jonathan we're talking about. Tinubu and his wife aren't living gently. And I want Nigerians to go watch House of Cards. These guys aren't living. They're going to lose, but they're not living. You got to get them out by revolution, by legitimate resistance. That's how you're going to, these guys aren't living. I'm telling you right now. They're going to lose. Peter Obi is going to win, but they will not leave power because they know what's coming after that. They're going to be probed. Their agents are going to be probed. Their minions are going to be probed. Their lackeys are going to be probed. And they got to return all the stolen money, especially the one from Lagos State and Abuja in the last 4 years, and basically 16 years under Buhari as well. They won't live gently. So we need President Trump. In circumstances like this, God has always raised men who stands up for justice, who is going to come in and remove the powers that be that are tormenting and destroying lives. I'm excited with what is happening now under President Trump. I knew it was going to happen. Justice is going to come back to the world, and he's doing just that. I knew it. I knew he's a God sent. I knew he's a God sent. The people of Iran are rejoicing as we speak right now. They're excited and just wonderful. I will see you again soon. This is great. Good morning, Iran. And I hope soon good morning, Nigeria. And good morning to the world. Yes, it's a new day. Thank God for President Trump. God be with you, Mr. President. God be with you, President Trump, and your troops and the American troops. They're doing great blessing to the world. And Israel, peace to Israel, peace to Jerusalem. God bless the Israeli troops as well. They're doing a great job. The Air Forces, both Air Forces. America has brought a great firepower in, 2 aircraft carriers, especially the largest one, and also just by docking in Israeli waters now, the Ford carrier. And then you have the Abraham Lincoln as well. Great job, President Trump. Iran can stand this. God is good. Peace. Bye-bye.